Roll call.
Adair?
Here.
Bayless?
Here.
McLennan?
Here.
Noah?
Here.
Sobek?
Here. Citizens appearing. Ms. Vanderwall is here, she'd like to present her annual report.
Well, not annual report, a report, I guess. I figure it's a good idea to consistently tell you guys what I do, like dictate it to you so that you're aware, taxpayer-funded service, free landowner assistance. So I just brought like a little couple of paragraphs that I
Sure, you
typed
could
up.
just introduce yourself and then
Sure.
go from there. We'll go.
So I'm Brittany Vanderwall, I'm the district forester with conservation district in town. I'm sure many of you have seen stuff having to do with Herman Vogler, that's our little playground. But, so this service that I provide when I'm not, marauding and cutting all of the trees down is free landowner assistance, where I provide landowners with guidance and suggestions on how best to manage their forest. So, brought you guys a little brief narrative just so you can have it. And if people ask you natural resource related questions, send them to us. Because even if I don't know the answer, I know somebody that does. So I'd be the kind of liaison for you guys to utilize if you have those kinds of questions or concerns. So just briefly, through the Forestry Assistance Program, Brittany provides technical assistance to private landowners and conducts outreach events such as forestry-related presentations, workshops, and training sessions. Do a lot of outreach, a lot of different stuff. I try to assess what people around here are interested in and then use that as a way to get them interested in natural resources in general. Like mushroom growing workshops or like maple syrup field day is pseudo-related to forestry, so it's a good kind of introduction to natural resources. So FAP is funded by the Michigan Department of Ag and the Michigan DNR. And all of the conservation districts that have, I think there are 50 counties covered by a forestry assistance program. Person, and not every county has a full-time, like I go between here and Sheboygan, but we cover most of the state, wherever there's a lot of private land. So if a landowner owns forested property, then I do a free on-site visit with them and help them with their goals, help them decide what's relevant to their management and find a professional. And then, I do demos, tours, field days. I like to be on the radio and show everybody and tell everybody about good forestry. So I just a couple of relevant numbers I figured I'd drop on you. There's a lot. Our reporting sheet is excessively large. But so since I've been here, I've visited with about 250 landowners on 25,000 acres. That's what I could quantify, maybe a little more, a little less, but that's kind of the brunt of it. My somewhat quantifiable economic impact is about 600,000. So that's like the management plans I've been able to connect with people in timber harvest and all of that. And since I've been here, it's been about 60 workshops, tours, and seminars and field days. So just a few buzz numbers and a little logo. And if you guys go and check out the website, I kind of consistently, actively try to keep that relevant. So if you have any questions for me, you can ask me now or call me anytime.
Where's your office?
It's at the airport, right outside of town.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, co-located there. It's me and Catherine, who's our new manager. She started like 3 months ago. She works about 20 hours a week. So we do our best.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is that your 8-seater plane that
Oh, I wish.
twin profits in there?
Government employees don't make that much now, come on.
Look like a nice plane.
So here, if you guys want a copy, I just, printed, I think like 6 of them there if you want. But yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? We're under citizens appearing, so if anyone's interested. If not, we'll move on to approval.
Bring just the first.
Okay.
It was a reason. Hello, it's from Good Steve Simpson, property owner, 126 South, First Street, Rocky City, Michigan. So I went to the chamber dinner, very nice dinner, very nice event. And of course, now with the restaurant, about which the tree thing had to do with. And I know at the one meeting, the tree part seemed to have been delegated to the city manager's discretion. But now with the point we're looking out there, there looks like not only were the trees cut down, there's no existing ground cover anymore. So my concern is, what is the plan for all of that? You can see vast areas of sand and all of that, where there used to be, ground cover
Yeah.
holding
I'm
the
not
soil
sure
together.
that's
So
city property. believe that's the property of the,
No, you mean, you look down to the trail,
understand.
the property that goes from where those trees were sitting down to that trail is the park. Is that not correct?
What the
Anyway,
sand is, I'm not sure it is.
well, all I'm saying, looking out there, it looked like a lot more sand than it looked before, so I'm just raising the question. I don't expect an answer because I don't think anyone expected the question, but, you know, that was the next thing, and I don't know if that's something that then should go back to the parks people. We're meeting at the beginning of December. No, but the continuing landscaping of the earth, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Do you want us to talk now or later?
I don't know why you're here, so today, now would be good.
Now would be good.
I don't see you on the agenda, so.
We're the sewer cleaners.
Oh, thank you.
So we just got done doing sanitary Friday. We might have a little bit here and there to clean up, but Roger wanted me to come in and tell you guys what we found and what we got going on. You guys had a lot of heavy cleaning in your sanitary, a lot, more than what we had in light cleaning. The major malfunctions in your guys' sanitary sewer is tree roots. I don't know if Roger brought it up to you, but he went to a couple shows with root killing things that if you treat the roots, you have anywhere from 5 to 10 years of them being dead, instead of cutting them every year, because they will grow back within a year. And we spent days and days and days on getting thousands of feet done, just because of all the roots. I'm the one that does all the cameraing, he's the one that does all the cleaning. I found a handful of pipes that need to be replaced, not immediately, but periodically. So your main focus should be killing these roots. Because if you don't kill them, they're just going to come back. Because all we did was give them a haircut. You know? They'll go right back in within the 2-3 years back to where they're not working again.
You kill them from the inside the line out?
Inside the line out.
It's an additive or something?
Yep, what they do is, it's a powder that they put into a bag, kind of with their back truck, and when the back truck shoots it to the next line, they'll hook the bag up, they'll pull it backward, and it shoots foam right into the cracks, the joints, and
It's on our side,
yep.
basically, under.
right into the taps, so it kills the roots that are coming into the taps, which a lot of taps have, or I don't know how a lot of people's houses are working. As many taps as that small tree roots in it. So another thing that I told,
Excuse me, one question, is our back truck big enough to do that?
yes, your back truck is big enough to do.
He says no, you say yeah.
It is big enough to do, it's big enough to do the root killing, but if you guys want to do more maintenance to your storms and your sanitaries, I would be looking into a bigger truck. Because they cleaned one line for us in the sanitary and it took them almost, or storm, and it took them almost 10 hours to get 200 feet done. So the truck only holds 300 gallons of water, plus you're running at 40 gallons per minute. Where our truck holds 15 and it runs at 8, anywhere from 80 to 100 gallons per minute.
You guys do that?
Yeah, we're working on that right now.
I guess Joe should.
Well, you're talking about two different things, though. You're talking about the sanitary sewer, and he's talking about a lot of finger roots and stuff. So the
Yeah.
system's in pretty good shape, and a lot of finger roots. Our truck isn't as big, so it's gonna take us longer. We're on a 5-year plan, so every year you do 20% of the system. You clean it out, you get through the big stuff, and all the finger roots are still there. And again, when he's talking about the taps, that's what came up with the Muckles. That's the Y, where the lateral's coming into the main, and that's not something, our thing doesn't shoot around a 90 and clean that up.
And don't,
That's an area where you're finding roots.
yeah.
The storm isn't on any type of a 5-year plan, and we just don't have the equipment that's large enough to do it. They can sit there for days and days and days.
And we
feed.
sit there for days and days and days on a pipe, or storm pipe, to get 300, 400, 500 feet. storm's horrible, but if you keep up with it, I know there's no money in a storm, because nobody has a budget for it, but it's something that run a nozzle through it 2 or 3 times every 10 years, at least keeps up with it. Today was the first day we dropped in the storm, and we got 2,500 feet done today. So it's not going too bad, but we have Roger going in front of us cleaning. So we're trying to save you guys money, because I know you guys have a real tight budget on your storm. So I figured if we work together, we could get more of your storm done. I'd like to leave this town with 100% working capacity of both systems. So, it's just, you need to kill the roots. You need to get a root cutter, you need to get a root cutter from a 6-inch all the way up to a 15-inch. Kill the roots, maintain the roots, because they're killing your system.
Did you find any busted storm sewers or
Today when I looked into the storm
caved
sewers,
in?
today when I looked into the storm sewers, I didn't find nothing major in the storm sewers in the 2,500 feet we did. In the 1,500 or 1,000, 1,290 some thousand feet of sanitary I did, I found holes, I found breaks. Roger's fixed them as I found them.
Okay.
And everybody knows about the big problem we found that was fixed right away.
Yeah, that was the one you guys got an email on.
And there was a couple pipes that are 200-300 feet long that eventually, in the near future, that are going to need to be replaced. They're starting to heave and crack and give out, but roots are your main concern.
Well, the nice thing about it, we know now, though, like we had always planned. We know now-
Toby's in constant communication with the crew. Toby's in constant communication, so you got video footage of every inch of sanitary
I'm anxious
line
to
in the
see-
town, and Toby's keeping a
And you
run.
know, if you guys, any of you guys, wanna come and check out what we're doing, we'll still be here until the cold weather stops us. So you're more than happy to come inside the van and take a look at any of the sanitary or storm sewers that
I'm
we got
anxious
done.
to see about Lark Avenue. Years ago, we did a same thing you're doing, and we used the Citrus at that time you put it on the walls, you know, take care of the holes and so on.
Oh,
I'm just wondering how this is gonna turn out. It's been a
the,
few years.
Here in place pipe, where they put fiberglass in it.
And what they called it Citrus.
Okay. And they relined the pipe,
Yes, yes.
yep.
So I'm anxious to see just how that.
Was that in a storm?
Part, it's just,
Was that storm or sanitary?
Storm.
I did not see none of that in the sanitary.
You haven't done any of that in sanitary. You can do it, you can sleeve it, and that's what we're
no,
turning
all I'm
on.
saying is I'm anxious to see how bad it is now. If that really lasts
How long ago was it?
It's gotta be.
a couple years ago.
It should still be,
Maybe
it should still be in good shape because it's guaranteed for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's been longer than that, so.
And you may not end up seeing that, Gary, honestly, just because, again, we had enough money in the SAW grant for sanitary to do every inch of pipe in town. Every inch of old pipe, the brand new PVC stuff you guys put in 5 years ago, we're not messing with. But
Yeah.
the storm is a much smaller budget. And like you said, not only do you have tree roots in the storm, you've got gravel and all kinds of stuff that's built up in some of that over time, so it's slow going. So we actually started at 6th Street, I think, and are working toward the lake. And that may end up using up every bit of the budget that we've
Well,
got.
like, we dropped in today and we got 2,500 feet done today. So if it's kinda like how it was today, we won't be as bad as I'm hoping. Because I know Roger went through and cleaned a lot of it. If we can work together, if Roger can get ahead of us within a couple weeks of doing the heavy cleaning, you're saving money from us. And all we gotta do is come and run the nozzle once or twice and drop the camera and inspect it. I'm trying to help as much as I can.
Good.
Right, and it works good because we get force account, so we get paid, well, it'd be 90% on storm. And then we also purchased with these guys' recommendations, when we get a new nozzle, I think.
Did you guys get your road cutters too?
I didn't see, Raj had some stuff in, and when he left, he hadn't opened it up yet, but in essence, we're gonna pass that through SAW too. And it's stuff with a small crew that'll make things far more efficient, both to stay in front of these guys, and then after they're gone, to be able to try to
Yep.
keep up a little better than we have with the storm.
But if you guys, any guys wanna come see me, Toby has my number, Roger has my number. Just have them give me a call, say, hey, one of the council members wanna come out and check out what we're doing. It's actually a pretty nifty thing. We actually set up for Halloween for the kids and had demonstrations and everything.
People treating you okay here? Obviously?
Beautiful. I almost don't want to leave.
You can stay.
That's good to hear.
Bring your business headquarters here.
I keep on telling my brother that we need to start an asphalt company because I hear a lot of bad things about your guys' asphalt company.
Can I have your name, please?
Okay.
I appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to call me.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can tell you where all your bad spots are. I marked them on the maps and everything, so. There's only a handful of ones that I actually found. At what was it, the 40s?
Most of them are sanitary. Yeah.
I'd give it like a score of like a 90 out of 100. It's 90% working capacity.
Oh,
The whole 5, 6 lines I found that were bad, it's just the tree roots.
city used to put down in their own sewer and water.
Yeah.
The workers did. Years ago.
But I talked to Ray the other day, and he says he's never had so much water coming down
Yeah, really?
because everything's opened up now.
Yeah.
I know Roger maintains it every so many years, but he's running a 6-inch cutter through an 8-inch and everything, so he doesn't have the equipment that he needs to do it. So we're trying to tell him what kind of equipment he needs so he can keep it up on himself,
Very good.
so.
We appreciate that.
Yep, anytime. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll be here forever. But we're going to leave
Because it's
as
not
soon as
gonna
it's
snow.
cold. We'll be back next year.
Okay.
So, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Minutes. We have a corrected set of minutes in front of us for the second page.
Yes, I attached the wrong version to the,
So with that correction, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion that we approve both minutes with the changes.
Support. Motion of support is discussion, if not, roll call please.
You guys.
Hey, thank you for letting us know.
Bayless, McConnell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it going? Good, how are you? What's the count? That was, with the manhole problem.
Make a motion that we authorize payment of the bills and authorize
Put back down the way.
sign.
Or did it like get blown off or something?
In the amount of
We don't know, because it was closed.
$449,166.90.
Down the road. Regardless, something like that.
Just down the road, 4 car lengths
Further
away.
discussion?
Probably, yeah.
Not roll call
20
please.
yards.
That's completely.
Yeah.
McConnell,
Yeah, it
Yes.
was just sitting out on
Yeah.
the road, and I just went and grabbed it.
Yes.
Back.
Yes. City attorney?
Because I made sure everything was closed before we left, so.
Tax tribunal did,
I mean, It's happened before, so we just assumed it was kids.
tax exemption.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the first time we found manholes over
So
it,
that's
so.
good
Yeah.
for this past year.
All right, well, thank you.
Just get them every night.
Yep.
Product change. And then, we did submit an application today for an eviction order. Steve Canetta for water.
What's the timeline, excuse me, Tom? What's the timeline on that then?
Well, I don't know, I think Joe's saying we may have missed the window on the,
Well,
on
yeah, well, I mean, the goal was to try to, because we had a good price of metal to get that tower down, and it's looking highly unlikely now based on my most recent communications, and we have an eviction, but we still have a underground power supply to that. So they couldn't come in even if they had a cancellation until that is eliminated. Now, their most recent correspondence with Chuck is they're ready to go, they're just waiting for power to their new spot, and then they're gonna be ready to roll. Or else we need to call the power company, show them the eviction papers, and ask the power company to discontinue that power source. And then it would be a matter of whether or not the company was comfortable eliminating the tower with that satellite equipment, or whether they chose not to be in the middle of that, I don't know.
Well, I think whatever's legal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever we can get them to do.
But it'll be late.
They got all our information. Once the power is disconnected from that, they can come in. So whether it's yet this winter or first thing in the spring, will be on their schedule.
Well, if we're able to evict, I would think we'd want to cut the power,
Right.
so as to not allow, speaking of, any more opportunity to delay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They don't belong there, they're the only reason that service is there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't know how many people are gonna lose their internet, but
So it's their
That's not our problem.
Right.
not ours.
You want a motion? Sure. I'll make a motion that we do what John just said.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so the motions are to request the electric service to the water tower be disconnected, because we have a legal right to evict. Any other discussion? Roll call,
Excuse me,
please.
do we have a problem with that, Mike?
No, I mean, once the order is signed, apparently I've got to give them $30, I didn't realize that. Give them that tomorrow. If we had
The court you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the court. The documents have been filed. I don't know if the judge has signed it or not, but they may want the $30 first. Hopefully they sign it and they'll give me the order. So once we have that, then actually it's the court officer is directed to put us into full possession. So once that happens, then they're taking our steps.
Okay. Roll call?
McLennan?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Adair?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Sobek?
Yes. City manager?
Had some stuff in the packet, if you took a look at it, what I'm working on. So just a quick status. The water system asset management plan is actually complete. Chuck had a few comments, I made some few changes, and then I sent it off to Mike Ingles from Michigan Rural Water also to take a look at it to make sure he thinks it's exactly what they're looking for. Apparently, we're gonna be the first one anywhere around that's got this thing in, even though the deadline's end of calendar year. And we had a nice jump start on it. If you remember, we did the 100-year water. You saw the map with all of the different, and that's a lot of the information that's in there. So I think it's good. It's a good document to have filed. It's a good layperson can come in and look at it and get a pretty good idea of what the water system looks like, what its needs are. Breaks down the pipes, percentage of pipes by material, by age, by diameter, and age of tower, everything under the sun. The issues with the wells, it's all in there. Meter replacement. The EVIP, or whatever the acronym is for it now, is all done, just waiting on the F-65 from the auditor, which I anticipate should be here hopefully within the next few days. It'll take me another 10 minutes and that'll be off to the state. That's a December 1st deadline. And then again, the one planning document that we have in place that's severely dated is the Downtown Development Plan CDA has, which was last updated in 1999, so 18 years ago. The office staff typed that in because we couldn't find a copy of it on the computer. And that allowed me to update all of the legalese, redo the TIF plan to start it next year and go 30 years from there based on realistic numbers, get the correct properties that are part of the TIF in there, and then update the size of the district, which you guys shrunk down in '09, and do all of that. And now the exercise will be working with the CDA to actually discuss the projects that they feel are the most important moving forward. Parks Committee will actually be doing a similar exercise, as will Harbor Advisory, with the intent to truly do strategic planning then across the board after the first of the year. Where we can take in a recommendation, streets, water, sewer recommendations on parks, on downtown improvements, and all of those things, which will all be in front of us then.
Does the rural redevelopment program dovetail into that as well?
It does, yep, and that was one of the things. So RRC, if you remember, you had to have the resolution from council to engage in it, we had to go to some training, and then we had to fill out a self-checklist on where our plan stood compared to where they wanted them to be with the best practices. Having everything up to date is important. The downtown development plan should be incorporated in the master plan by reference. It isn't now, there's no point in doing it now because it's so old. But yeah, there's a multitude of things to do, one of which is developing an overall comprehensive capital improvement plan. So that'll be something as we engage in those exercises and look at everything that will result in that particular plan being created, which we'll need to do over the next year or so to actually be in compliance with the RRC, assuming that it still exists within 2 years.
We're still good with all of our deadlines at this point.
Oh yeah, the deadline was October 1st to have the training, the self-checklist, and the resolution passed. We had that done by the end of September, I think.
Is their last payment this year or next year, the DDA?
Their last, well, they got 2 separate debt payments. Their last large debt payment, which is typically around 29 or 30 grand, the last one is this fiscal year.
17.
Correct, yep, the year we're under now. The last payment, I think, is May 1st. That one's done. They still have a smaller one that's got a few more years left on it. The only other thing I wanted to mention, and today put it in perspective, so I figured I'd bring it up because Terry and I have been talking about it. So council members are elected every 4 years, mayor's elected every 2 years. They're on odd years. So every 2 years, there's 3 people up for election, the mayor and 2 members of council. And almost always, the only thing on the ballot is city, and so we get stuck with the entire cost of the election, which right now is about $4 grand. And everything looks silly today. There's 3 names for 3 spots, that's $4,000 gone. The only way I think that we could overcome it would be through a charter amendment. So my thought is to have Mike start working on that, get it in front of you. If you approve it, it goes to the AG, and then ultimately it goes to the voters to get that to an even year. Because then it's on with other things, and we're only covering a minute portion, and the state and the county are covering the rest instead of us covering the entire amount. We might extend the terms of everybody 1 more year, the way Terry's looking at it, and Mike will have to research that. But, you know, in essence, it's just such a waste of money, and it makes no sense to me to keep doing it that way. If you can get it to even years and have it with other things, we're not getting hit with $8,000 every 3 years. Because God knows we have better places to put that.
When does school village, when does school election?
Most things are in November. Once in a while, they have something in there, but not very often anymore.
I think they love the calendar, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, if you look at today, it was 59 at 6:30, so if you say there are even 60 people voted today, that's $67 a person who paid that whole process.
Well, you can see who was running that shit, nobody likes them.
So you're saying that you'd have this like presidential election year every 4 years?
Well, you're still gonna be every 2, Kenny, but it'd still be Senate years and,
Yeah.
but yeah, no matter what, so you'd still be staggered. The mayor's gonna be up every 2 like he is now, and 2 council members, instead of being 17 and 19, it would be 18 and 20. And now we're piggybacking with other things, but it would have to be done, again, the voters would have, but I can't believe people would be upset about us trying not to waste $4,000 a year.
I think, I agree 100%. I think that's absolutely foolish to spend that much money on Dick over here, you know?
Yes.
When does the school board come up?
Good question.
I think there's
The election is for members is in November.
November.
And is that, does the city pay for that one?
No.
No.
That's,
The school pays.
Just the workers. We don't have to pay for the program.
so, but that way, that may be something to consider, because then you'd have all like the municipal things all together. So that in terms of people's attention to, you know, what matters, they might focus on the school in the city. Now, on the other hand, as elected officials, you may not want them focusing on that, but, you know.
Well, we want participation.
Right.
When you have an off year like this, you've
Right.
got 60 people, and even when there's contested races in off years, the participation levels drop off exponentially when compared to regular years. So I still think it benefits everybody if all those issues are on the same ballot, because then you're gonna pull people in. And they do, when they go to vote, they educate themselves on what they're voting on. It's not like, oh, what do they do for the city?
Well, I know
I
that,
think
but there are going to be choices. I mean, there are different election cycles.
Sure.
And I was voter number 52 in the first precinct, for 30. So all I'm saying is when you're considering this, look at which kinds of elections they are, you know, because it may make more sense to put the local election with the other local election. You know, so that people in the time that they put into thinking about the government might, you know, all focus on that and then not tie it, you know, because you're going to shift it, that's all.
Thank you.
So if we're good with that, like I said, I'm gonna work with Mike, research it and bring something back to you first that puts it on even year.
It was so slow, I got to vote first today.
I'm excited.
Okay, anything else for Joe? Any
No.
questions for Joe? Report? If not, I'll move on. Commissions, liaisons, anybody have anything? Under mayor, I wrote it down, so I wouldn't forget this time.
Just one thing on liaison is all, if you drive by the ambulance garage, you'll notice that they've started, they poured footings and they're working on the addition to the ambulance garage now. So that's being done, and that's to provide additional sleeping quarters there in that building. And because of the on-call, they need to have on-call staff and that sort of thing. And a lot of the folks that are working here currently, or several of them, are from out of town. So it provides a place for them to stay. So there's that going on. And then we're working forward with the fire hall situation too, with the fire board.
Good segue.
Ken? That was a good man by the name of Adair.
Okay, under mayor, couple things. First of all, I meant to do a last meeting, I did not, and I'd like to appoint Scott McLennan to replace myself on the fire authority. Your support?
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion to support. Place Scott McLennan on the Rogers City Area Fire Authority Board. Take my place, effective basically today. So that it takes place with the next meeting. Roll call?
Noah?
Yes.
Adair?
Yes.
Bayless?
Yes.
McLennan?
Yes.
Silver?
Yes. Lastly, good luck to the girls volleyball team tonight. It all started right about now.
Yeah.
And congratulations, first to the girls cross-country team, third place regional finish, state qualifiers, and Morgan Baller, regional champion,
Yeah.
and all-state.
She's a freshman.
Yes.
So you gotta give her a lot of credit, okay?
Yes.
Wow.
Congratulations to all those.
Yes.
That is pretty cool.
That's outstanding. And she ran a perfect time. She was beat, but, I mean, to come in first in our region,
Yeah.
no, she's a good
It's a
athlete.
big, it's a significant accomplishment for them, and so congratulations to her. No unfinished business. Under new business, we have two issues. The first is the Consumers Energy Franchise Ordinance. It's an energy company. They operate under franchises in municipalities, townships, wherever they have service. They're requesting a renewal of that franchise, as I understand it. If there are any questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve, which was
Is it first reading?
first reading.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
The motion is support. Is there any further discussion?
Does anybody feel like they need to be here? They called and said that they could be here tonight. I said, if anybody wants, I'll call them.
You and Joe, are you and Mike?
I don't need them here, but I figured I'd at least bring it up to you guys if you wanted them here.
No, that's us.
I know anything about electricity, it's on.
Turn the switch on.
Turn switch.
I will go where Roll call, please.
Adair,
Yes.
Bayless,
Yes.
McClement.
Yes?
Noah,
Yes.
Solot.
Yes. Packet also included a request from the district library director, who is station right now, but it's in this list.
Amber Clemens.
Amber Clement, to reappoint Jeff Hop, I'm assuming, he's been there, correct?
Wow,
As the city's representative to the Prescott District Library's Board of Trustees. Mr. Hop is interested in staying on, so I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Jeff Hop.
Second.
Motion and support. Is there any other discussion?
Who was the second?
Scott and Councilman Adair.
Bayless,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes?
Noah,
Yes.
No, yes.
Adair,
Yes.
Solot.
Yes.
Don't sit there and pout.
Any other business? No closed session.